Hey everybody, it's me, Dina, your dating diva, and today we are going to talk about dating mistakes that turn men off. I know, ladies, you want me to get into those mistakes that turn us off, but today this is what we're going to discuss, and I'll be sure to get you guys next time. So this article again is dating mistakes that turn men off. It was written by Amanda May, and I found this article on yahoomatch.com. So if you're interested in reading the entire article, that's where you can find it. But we're going to go through what Miss Amanda May has to say. So, what's one of the quickest ways to derail a potentially great relationship? By forgetting common courtesies when out on a date. Just as you'd run from a man who spent the whole evening taking calls or talking about other women, your date will quickly write off anyone who asks crazy personal questions or complains about the restaurants he picked. Read on to discover the top etiquette mistakes women make that turn men off and how to avoid them. So, the first mistake is not showing your gratitude when he picks up the tab. This is a big no-no for me, or it's a big pet peeve of mine, I should say. Gratitude. You know, I posted something on Facebook the other day talking about I held the door open for a woman and she just walked right through and she didn't say thank you like it was my job or something like that. So, of course, I yelled out, "You're welcome," and she turned around and looked at me like I had 5 heads. And I know that was wrong. I should have just, held the door for her and just did something nice for somebody without any expectations. But showing gratitude is a big pet peeve of mine. It drives me crazy. So she says it seems like a no-brainer to say thank you after someone treats you to dinner or to a movie. But when you've got butterflies, you got that, those first date jitters, it's surprisingly easy to space out on this essential manners move. And you should always say thank you when he picks up the check. In today's society, men don't always necessarily pick up the check. So, when he does, just say thank you. And the same goes for you when you pick up the check. He should show just as much gratitude. It also says that we can, instead of, just saying thank you, we can do one better and maybe pay for dessert or pay for coffee or something like that, to reciprocate him paying for the meal. I know when I go out on a first date, if he asks me out, then yes, I kind of expect him to pay for a date. But if it's kind of like a mutual thing, like, hey, maybe we should get together, then, I might even ask to split the check. And I know a lot of you ladies are like, oh, hell no, you should never offer to pay. But that's me. It's not you. So to each his own. Mistake number 2, bringing up controversial subjects in a negative light. Religion and politics. You never discuss religion and politics at work or on a first date. That's just common sense. When you're just getting to know someone, be extra careful about expressing strong opinions. Especially if they're negative. You don't want to launch into a tirade about how you can't stand vegetarians only to discover that you're sitting across from PETA's biggest anti-fur activist. A better bet, wait to discuss sensitive topics until after you've had a few outings under your belt first. That seems like common sense. You don't want to put your beans out there, before you actually get a chance to know them a little bit better, right? Same goes for him. You don't want him to discuss his political beliefs or his religious beliefs. It'll be a total turnoff. Now, that is something that you should discuss, if you're going to make a go at it. But maybe on the first date, it's probably not the best topics. Trash talking your exes is number 3. As a general rule of thumb, it's wise to avoid any talk about your exes on the first few dates, and it's a definite no-no to trash any former flames, and I think that's definitely true. The same goes for your children. You never trash talk your ex in front of his children. That would just be wrong. That's unfair to them, and it's disrespectful to him, regardless of how you feel about it. Those are his children. They don't feel the same way, and you shouldn't force your opinions on them. And also, when you trash talk your ex, that's just putting in his mind, okay, well, if I'm an ex, she's going to be trash talking me as soon as I turn around. And that already puts a level of mistrust in the relationship. So you don't want to trash talk your ex to a potentially new relationship. Remember what your mother always said: if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. Sometimes that's difficult, but I would say try to live by that. Mistake number 4: leaving your phone's ringer turned on obsessively checking it. Take 5, I guess. Obsessively checking it. If you're addicted to answering your phone every time it rings, leave it at home. Yeah, I'm not leaving my phone at home. I'll put it on vibrate. I'll put it on silent. I'll leave it in my purse or in my pocket. Maybe even leave it in the car, but I'm not leaving it at home. You're meeting somebody for the first time, so that phone, you may need that phone if he turns out to be a jerk or a danger or something like that. So leaving your phone at home probably isn't a great idea, but leaving it on silent, I think that's just respectful. If you're getting to know this person for the first time, you owe them, your full attention. You owe them that respect to giving them your full attention and completely paying attention to what they're talking about. But if you find that you can't give them your full attention, then maybe you're not that into them. That could be, your hint that you're not that into them. And the same goes for them. If they're constantly on the phone and texting, then that's disrespectful to you. So I wouldn't put up with that at all. Texting friends is equally off limits, so if you have to answer calls or emails for work, explain to your date beforehand that you might need to take a few moments to touch base throughout the evening, and always apologize for any interruptions when they do occur. Again, that's common courtesy, and I don't think that just pertains to a romantic relationship. I think that's the way it should be in any of your relationships, in your friendships, or when you're speaking to family or coworkers. If they're speaking to you about something that means something to them, then you owe them the respect to give them your full attention. If you can't give them your full attention, then it is disrespectful and it could hurt their feelings. Now, if you're the type of person who doesn't care, then, well. The fifth mistake, as my phone goes off, the fifth mistake is overstaying your welcome. On a truly great date, the hours fly by like mere minutes, but be careful to pick up on clues from your date that it's time to call it a night. So if he keeps checking his watch and he talks about how busy a day he's going to have tomorrow, or even if he starts to yawn, that's your clue. That's your clue that, it's time to go home. It's time to call this, bring this date to an end. And that, if you leave it early enough, that might still leave that air of mystery, leave something open, leave you guys something to talk about on the next date. So I think it's best to end it earlier rather than later, before it's too late. So those are the 5 mistakes that women make that turn men off. And I think all 5 of these could be turned around and could be turn-offs for women too, now that I'm thinking about it. So, but I'm glad that you guys are staying tuned, and I will see you guys next time. Don't forget, if you have any ideas for me, any stories for me, or just advice, feel free to contact me at datingdiva7@yahoo.com. That's datingdiva7@yahoo.com. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.